What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Krash and Thunders. I am your host, Krash.
And I'm Thunders.
And we got a very special guest for you here today. We got Eric Jayk from Wildstreet.
All right. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we love having you here, man. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, it's an honor.
Yes, sir. So pretty much our backgrounds to Wildstreet is me and Thunders here. We're in high school. And we kind of can't come up with how we got introduced to Wildstreet per se. We don't know if it was from each other or on our own, but I kind of remember distinctly listening to Dirty Penny. And I guess the related videos and such, Wildstreet popped up and they were somewhat local boys. So I was like, that's good shit right there. So that's pretty much how and that was what, 10, 12 years now ago, at least. So that's pretty much my background on Wildstreet.
We started in 2006 and it was just me and Jimmy, my guitar player. And so we would, we'd write songs and we'd party and we'd finish partying and write more songs and take a break from partying and write more songs. And eventually, somehow we finished the first album and Wildstreet 1. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. And it definitely sounds like a party album. Like you guys are partying while writing this album.
Yeah, we weren't partying when we were in the studio, but it was like we would leave the studio or like when we were making demos, it was like crazy. It was like, we would do a walk of shame like every day, but like I distinctly remember programming the synth bass for the first album and drinking a bottle of Evan Williams at 12 p.m. like and falling over, and Jimmy Jimmy like coming over, like because like we love playing music, so it's like just because you're whatever doesn't mean that you're not going to want to play music still. So we're working on our music and writing stuff and whatever. It probably could have gotten written without all of that, but that's the story. So
of course.
So yeah, and in 2009 we played Rocklahoma for the first time and went on a 2.5 month tour of the US. We went coast to coast, and it was pretty cool. It was a lot. We had never really toured before as Wildstreet. Like, we had all toured with other bands and whatever. So that's the early days of Wildstreet for you.
Yeah, so pretty much the early days that consists of Jimmy, like you said, on guitar, Ali Hassan, I guess, or is that how you would pronounce it?
Those guys didn't play on the first record.
No? Okay, all right. Gotcha. All right.
This record was me and Jimmy and two producers.
Okay. All right. All right. So yeah, but definitely sounds of the classic 80s glam, whatever you want people to call it, but it definitely hits home. It definitely doesn't sound 2006, so to speak, So but
at the same time, as much as it's glammy, I was picking up the darker, street level elements, like I mentioned. More of the Dallsy influence rather than the straight up like Poison influence. There was a difference between the two.
There was definitely not really a Poison influence in the album.
I know.
We went for it was kind of like we had written these songs and the songs were good, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we were just trying to like exactly authentically capture the feeling of Mutt Lange, right, of Def Leppard, of we tried to recapture some of the sounds. We played guitars one string at a time. We recorded hundreds and hundreds of tracks of hand claps, and Haze, like we would have like entire Pro Tool sessions with tracks and tracks and tracks of Haze, and we just like stack them on top of each other just to make it bigger and bigger and bigger. And that it's like ancient history at this point. It's like a different lifetime, really, and
Yeah.
it's not anything close to what Wildstreet is now. You know what
Oh,
I mean?
absolutely.
Yes, yeah.
Like whereas in 2006 or 2009 or whatever, well, I guess 2006, 2007, 2008, like Wildstreet was literally just me and Jimmy
Yeah.
and our producers. And now, like, now we're not just a band, we're a really good band too.
Yeah.
Like, I think
I was actually blown away by the single Mother when we reacted to it, because it was completely different than what I remembered you guys for, but it was damn fucking good. And the rest of the record, you know, listening to it, driving places and stuff, it fucking rocks, dude.
Thanks, man.
I
Yeah,
just
so
want to
like
give you that.
like the record spans like a bunch of different feelings and different styles that are all Wildstreet. There's no like one.
Yeah.
We're a rock band. We're a hard rock band, and you know, we're definitely not a hair metal band. And
No.
but we're, you know, we like to have fun. So some of the songs are fun, you know,
Oh, yeah. Yep.
and you know, so there are different elements of our like Wildstreet steps into this subgenre of rock music, but the bottom
You're
line
just
is
a rock and roll band.
Yep.
yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, so I think like pretty much every album and EP, everything that you released through time here, you do see that progression
Yeah.
of like your first here, very, I don't want to say light, but compared to where you're at now, and even to the second, your second release, you do see that darker tone on each release. You know,
Yeah,
up
if
until
you
now.
keep in mind also that the album was recorded in 2018 and finished in 2019.
Mhm.
Like we, you know, we're much more aggressive than we were back then too. We're much like our shows we've been getting better and better and better, and it's like it's exciting, like, you know, because like, you know, more of the other guys comes out and they push me to, you know, to do my thing better, and to and Jimmy to do his thing better. And it's like, you know, there's absolutely nothing like live music, and there's absolutely nothing like playing music with people. You know what I mean?
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like, you know, so I keep saying this in every interview. Who knows where our heads are going to be at, or where, you know, where Wildstreet will be after we do these tours. Like, you know, like we're, you know,
Yeah,
I think we're going to be pretty awesome. So
yeah, and
Oh, yeah.
it does keep getting better with time, and you kind of just like with anything
That's a natural
else.
progression of any band in history, though. You could name any rock band that started off at one point. By, you know, their third or fourth record, they're no longer the same. You go through any kind of history of any band.
Yeah.
you're very right. You know, if you don't evolve, if you don't change, then you just become a parody of yourself. You know,
Exactly.
no performer wants to be a parody of themselves. Like, case in point, like, yeah, you
Pretty much,
like,
yeah,
so.
and yeah, as long as you like you stay true to what your roots were too, you know, like because a lot of people can say, oh yeah, they sold out third album or whatever, you know, but as long as you stay true to yourself, it's gonna just be a natural progression, and
Yeah.
I think you guys are nailing it still to this day. So
Again, touring helps that, because then you're
Oh, yeah.
hanging out with your fans, and your fans become friends, and you kind of get a sense of what's working and what's not working, you know.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
exactly. Yep. So after you do the touring and such on the first release here, on the self-titled, I guess you could say, you guys go and you do Wildstreet 2, correct? Is that what that was the net? Okay, that was the next progression here. And then, and I think you definitely got, well, you definitely got better, but not so light as the first album, so to speak. It definitely maturing as we go here.
well, that Wildstreet 2 was a band album. Like, there was very little production on it. It was just it was the exact opposite of Wildstreet 1 intentionally. And we focused, you know, I wrote most of that record with our producer at the time. He's been my friend for years, and we've written a lot of songs together. And
I
for
have a friend like that myself.
and for a lot of different projects too. He's awesome. His name's Kyle Kelso. Anyway, he and I worked on these songs, and we made demos and gave it to the band guys, and you know, everybody who played on it did a really great job, and I think the songs are so really great for what they are, you know.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And you know, so yeah, so we did Wildstreet 2, and then we put out Poison Kiss, the video that you guys like, and so I guess that video was kind of what made our, like, it gave us like more of a like international fan base and worldwide. We got like a lot more attention and a lot more buzz from it, and which led us to doing Easy Does It in 2012, I guess, and making that video, and you know, and then the video came out and we had strippers.
Yeah, oh yeah, of course. Can't go wrong.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong with that. That's an awesome video. I know people today that still love watching that video just for the music and just for the atmosphere of what they're watching, obviously.
Because you feel like you're part of the party when you watch that video. I
Exactly,
think
yeah,
that's the part of
exactly.
it that works so well. It's real, you know?
Oh yeah. So I guess one of the songs on this release here is Hot Licks. And every time I listen to it, I think, did you pretty much write this song about yourself? Like how he's like talking about how like getting younger, you're hanging out with Jimmy, you know, you putting the vinyl on and such like that. Like, is that kind of, did you kind of, what was your headspace for that song? If
we were actually, it didn't end up being that way, but the original idea was to write about a teenage girl learning to play guitar.
Okay.
And getting to be, but it ended up, you know, because stuff works and other stuff doesn't, it just, but yeah, the idea is, like, if you ever see us live, like the song makes sense when you see us live, but it's just about, it's about learning to play guitar and getting somewhere, and then you're rocking the world, you know.
Yeah, that's everyone's dream. You know, everyone that loves rock or metal or any kind of music, that's their dream, just to become something. But I think definitely I wanted to ask, how did Don Jameson come into the fold of being in Poison Kiss, the video?
Well, he lived in the East Village. I lived in the East Village at that time.
Okay.
And we saw him around a lot. And so Ali, my old bass player, just asked him, and he was like, okay, you know, and it wasn't really a big deal because it's like, he was in the neighborhood and we were in the neighborhood, but he's a nice guy. Like I, you know, every once in a while I'll, like, you know, send him like a comment and say, hey man, how are you? And you know, he's always nice and stuff. So,
Oh, yeah, good deal. So you have anything on the album Thunders or anything you
No,
wanted
you
to-
pretty much covered everything I wanted to know too.
Okay. All right, so then
Minds think alike.
yeah, so then after Wildstreet 2 here, then you guys do the EP, correct, of Tennessee Cocaine.
well, not exactly. I'll explain. So we recorded, the first song that was recorded on Wildstreet 3 was Raise Hell, right?
Okay.
Raise Hell came out in 2017. I think December 2017.
Yeah, roughly, yeah.
That was really like, we used the same drum studio, and Kyle, my friend who was involved in Wildstreet 2 and Wildstreet 1, he produced the song, and so we released it like just digitally, and we did a Want to Get It On live, which was, it's not a live version, it's actually the original recording but with live drums and live guitars. So we used like real amps, and versus the first album, again, was recorded with guitars one string at a time through a pod, through and into we used a Rockman X100 guitar headphone amp into a pod into Pro Tools. Like there's no
God damn.
Yeah.
so we did it. Like Want to Get It On is like it's a song that people like when they come see us play. Everybody always wants to hear. So we did this kind of updated version that's a little bit more like swing heavy and stuff.
Okay.
So we released that, and then we started planning on working on Wildstreet 3. And so we recorded Wildstreet 3. We started August 2018, right? And I know this because we recorded the day after I got back from tour in Europe, playing guitar in some other band. It wasn't much of a tour, so I'll spare you the details. But so we started tracking drums. It was 2 days after, because we did have one rehearsal. While I was in Europe, we had demos, right? But Jimmy organized everything. He made sure that all the demos, that all the Pro Tools sessions were set up for the album, and he also did the final musical like kind of vibe and groove on Set It Off, and kind of refined the arrangement on Mother and put all the pieces together, right? Okay. So he sent the dudes what he had done, just because Locke had to track to something, and Dom had to write his solos and his parts and stuff. Yep. And so we had one rehearsal for like an hour, and Locke killed it. Jimmy just showed him some stuff that was weird on Mother, and that was it. And we went into the studio, and in 7 hours, Locke did all the drums. Damn. So as you can tell, the guys are pretty good. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah. No doubt.
So we recorded basics, and it took a while to get all the parts done, getting all the guitars on, and then all the vocals, because let's face it, it's heavy produced, but it's produced in a very different way. It's not. Yeah. It's still rock. It's like
it sounds very organically done rather than all compressed and forced.
Exactly. It's not like a plastic rock album. It's all like the effects that we're using is like guitar pedals. Our producer is a guitar player, so he put my voice through my electro harmonics Pog 2 thing. Pog 1.
Nice.
So whatever. Like so there's like we took time getting the right guitar sounds. Took time like making the drums right, and Kyle, our producer, played bass on the album.
Nice.
And he's a great guitar player, so his bass playing was fantastic.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we did like group vocal day, and everybody in the band sang, and we brought some friends too.
Nice. So real gang vocals.
There's a lot of vocals. There was a lot of vocal tracks and a lot of gang vocals.
Nice, sweet.
But so then we finished recording, and John Kaplan, who mixed our first record, also he mixed half of the first record, and he mixed this, and he killed the mixes. And so but where was I going with this? Oh yeah, okay. 2020 is when we released the Tennessee Cocaine special edition. Why? Yep. Because we had not yet found the right label, to put out Wildstreet 3, and we were not ready to put it out. And we had released Tennessee Cocaine already and Three-Way Ride, and we had planned to be going to Colombia and Mexico City, and like fans have waited a long time to see us play, and we needed to have something that they that they can, like, buying a CD at a show is like buying a memory, right?
Yep.
So, yeah. So I didn't feel
gotta have something for them to take away.
So yeah, I didn't feel right about coming to, playing a lot of shows without CDs. So we made this like little EP, and the same artist who did the Tennessee Cocaine cover and did Wildstreet 3 artwork, and she just threw together this mini little booklet, and we were good to go. But when the shows got canceled, and then the need for the CD didn't really, I guess it wasn't really necessary, but it's been selling a lot. So
Yeah. Yeah, I was actually
think about it. It's like 3 songs, but you get like instrumental versions.
yeah, yeah.
It's like it's definitely like a special edition, only like fan
Yeah.
collectors thing. But yeah, that's about Tennessee cocaine.
Yes, and definitely I could I was actually lucky enough to see you guys before the like a week before the shutdown, COVID shutdown at HMAC up in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. And I'll definitely be there next week to see you guys next Friday. So I'm looking forward to that. But so yeah,
I'm in your state, but I'm on the other side of the state.
yeah. Yeah. So and I could
I'm up
definitely
near Buffalo.
I, I could definitely tell that there's the same artist on for the covers and such.
There's a continuity to it.
Yeah. And kind of like how I was telling Thunders earlier, before we did the reaction to Mother, I don't think he heard any of this stuff on the EP.
No, I hadn't.
Yet.
Not
So
until
he
you
was
showed me
really,
Mother.
he was like really drawn back with how you sounded on Mother when you
Like I
released it.
commented on Facebook the other day, it almost sounded very doom metal-y.
Mhm.
You know, like very much like, Candlemass or St. Vitus kind of.
Yeah.
And then
Like-
yeah, go ahead.
The other guys, Dominic and Lachlan, like their bands before Wildstreet were death metal bands.
Okay.
Like I don't think that it definitely doesn't sound like death metal or doom metal to me. It sounds it's a particularly dark scale because the song's very dark.
Yeah, it is.
Incredibly, it's a mood song. Like when Jimmy sent me the demo, like the original demo that he did, I was so into it because it's like a chance to be a different character, right?
Yeah.
Like the chance to stretch people's imagination on what Wildstreet can do, and
Yeah.
Of course I don't think about it that way. I think about it in terms of music. I'm like, man, I really want to sing this. I'm gonna write the in an hour or two. I wrote the vocal, and the story wrote itself. It's based on a true story, so so,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I'd say that.
It's got to be real if it's that goddamn, dark. Like I can feel the emotion from that song.
It's all
Mhm.
but,
Yeah, so then that just kind of puts me to the point as it's just a natural progression for you guys because like I had the EP here from previous before COVID, and it wasn't shocking to me that you guys did something like Mother, because
But for
you
me
guys
it
were just
was.
kind of yeah. So it was just kind of like a natural progression to my ears anyway. So
yeah, it's
I had to go back
yeah.
and see what I missed out on.
yeah. Like
And then when I did that, it made sense.
as I said earlier, like there are 8 songs, but each song has a sort of different vibe, but it's all it's all wild, and we like to do all these different things. Like there's no it doesn't have to sound the same on every song in order for it to be. And like, who would want to do that? Nobody wants to see a band and every song sound the same. Like if you go to a show and it's like you think it's like one song and the band is played for an hour. That's horrible.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely good to have a little bit of variety in your sound as well, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. I dig that. No, I think that's what stands out with you guys.
Yeah, I wanted to ask what the inspiration was for Midnight Children.
Okay. I don't have a clever answer yet for this one, but so I'll tell you. Okay, so Jimmy and I were hanging out. He wasn't in Wildstreet at that point. It was like 2010, 2011. He left Wildstreet to do this rock opera that was awesome. He made the cover, the art section of the New York Times. It was really cool, and he wrote the whole thing. It was awesome. Anyway, so we were hanging out a lot. Right, we wrote "Still Love You," we wrote "Raise Hell" and "Midnight Children," and probably did the early demo of "Born to Be" somewhere around there too. But but yeah, so like we were really geeking out at that point at like we just wanted to do like there wasn't a purpose. There wasn't like, we're gonna make a Wildstreet record at this time. We were just writing because we're friends who like writing songs, right? And the guys in Wildstreet at that point were not, they were not my friends. So, and you know, I have no hard feelings. They're doing their thing. But
Yeah.
Jimmy's been my best friend for like 15 years. You know what I mean? We
Yeah.
would hang out and we write. We would be like, he really likes Dio, and so I got really into Dio for a minute, right?
Okay.
And so we were like trying to think of what we could do that could be sort of Judas Priest and Dio and just have fun. And somehow it led us to which, okay, nobody who ever hears that song will think it's like a joke or think it's funny, but I just think it's funny. Like
Just because you know where it comes from.
Midnight Children.
Now I'm never gonna hear that song the same way again.
Like the lyrics are a little like, to me they're ridiculous, but it makes within the metal context it makes perfect sense. So I should
Exactly.
you know what I mean?
Maybe it's because I grew up on that stuff that I subconsciously picked up on those influences and why that one stood out to me specifically.
Yeah, let me also say it's really fun live. It's really fun. And Dominic, like shredding neoclassical solo at the end is so good. Like he sent, like he did a demo or a video of him like playing this. On the original demo, it didn't have that guitar solo at the end. It just had like the chant and you know the band groove change. And he sent like this video, and it was like, dude, that's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Dom could play anything. He's so good. When I seen you guys live last year and plus, you guys were all great, but Dom was just shredding away. He makes it look like nothing. So he's definitely a keeper there for the band.
I'll hold you to it. Come to Buffalo.
So
I played in just outside Buffalo one time actually, and this was like my band when I was like 18, and
Okay.
we were kind of a cover band who played some originals, right? And I was playing guitar. I sang like one song with that band, and
Gotcha.
and so we had this gig booked, and with a Kiss tribute band, right? So the Kids tribute band obviously had never heard of Great White, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So they brought tons of like like explosions and what's that stuff called on stage?
Pyro.
Pyrotechnics.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
And so like they start their first song and they set off one the bar catches on fire.
Oh my God.
Everybody out of the bar. The police, the fire department came, and the guitar player, his hand was scorched, and he was sitting like on the bar with a bottle of Jaeger, like drinking and pouring and drinking. It was insane. It was insane.
Oh my. Yeah.
I live like 45 minutes outside of that because I could not stand to live in Buffalo for exactly and a lot of other reasons, like you mentioned.
It was insane, but whatever. That's my one.
Try Irving. That's nearby too.
So pretty much, you guys just released the new album, Wildstreet 3, and so how long is this tour? How long is this in the States? And how far west do you guys go out?
Okay, so next Wednesday, we start Kings of the World Tour, right? So just to clarify, Kings of the World Tour is any tour for Wildstreet 3. Okay, so we do it's the branding for us being on the road to support this album. Okay, so this tour is from July 7th, I believe, till August 8th. So we're out for a month. We go towards the Midwest to go and play Rockfest, which we're playing on Friday, July 16th. And then the day before we play our first show with our tour mates, the Rumors. right?
Yep,
And
okay.
in Chicago. And then we're going to tour around the Midwest for a minute and make our way down to Texas. We play through, like a week in Texas and go down to the southeast towards Mississippi and Louisiana, and then make our way back north. And so we're playing some of the same areas that we hit in April, and that's very intentional because you hit certain regions and certain markets a few times during the year, then you see how much bigger your fan base is getting in that area.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but we have plans for touring for the rest of the year, and including the Swiss Rock Cruise, which just got moved to October 8th, 9th, and 10th. It was supposed to be last Friday, Saturday, and last week. So we're going to go to Europe, and we're going to play a lot of shows in the US for the rest of the year. So
Nice.
Good deal. Good deal.
I can't announce any of the other shows besides the ones that are coming up in July, just because you don't want to.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yep.
But the chances of you coming towards my neck of the woods is pretty high then.
I can tell you that right now we had discussed going to like a Northeast sort of, but I don't think we're going to do that in 2021, but we'll come eventually, probably sometime early next year or something.
I'll hold you to it. I'll be here.
Yeah. Nice. So you got anything else you want to add on to this Thunders?
I mean, at the end of the day, what do you love about music?
What do I look? Okay. I'm going to answer that as best as I can. Basically, my whole life, I started playing guitar when I was 8 or 9 years old. This is it's all I know. Playing music, especially playing shows. And my whole life is music. It's like it's like I'm making other people happy or making them feel something, or like it's not like a selfish need to play music. It like I love it, but just because I love it, doesn't, I'm not doing it just for me, you know what I mean? And that's the whole thing with Wildstreet. Okay, so I know I'm stumbling to get to the point, but with Wildstreet, it's like, everything is universal messages, empowering. It's stuff to make, stuff that's said huge and loud and to rally the crowd and the whole reason why we started Wildstreet, where there's too many bands that complaining about their miserable lives. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, so you're miserable. Like that doesn't help me.
We get it.
That doesn't make people like forget about their misery. It just makes them get more engulfed in it. Even the times that we play darker songs, it's like we're not wallowing in our misery. We're just talking about it and in the most grandiose way that we possibly can. But why music is I just like it. I love it.
I mean, it seems like a lot of the artists that we ask that question to, it all comes back to they just love it and they love to see their fans love it as well. And that's it. Don't get much truer or much more simpler than that.
That's just something I ask everybody, and it's really great to see all the different answers.
It's so different, but yet just all the same too.
It's not meant to be corny because sometimes you could get some really profound shit.
Yeah. Well,
I just always say a flash bulb went off when I discovered rock and roll, and I thought I discovered something holy, and I've been taking it as prophecy ever since.
So I do have one other question here for you, Eric, is that you kind of touched on it just a little bit earlier in the show. As far as your influences, who are like some of your biggest influences that made you get into music when you were so young and to today?
Okay, well, my first two albums that my parents got me it was Michael Jackson Thriller
Okay.
and Purple Rain. Okay,
Oh,
so
okay.
those were like when I was like a child,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
really, really young. But yeah, okay, so like my town got MTV when I was like 8 or 9, and I saw bands like Guns N' Roses and Aerosmith and Motley Crue and you know, and like basically I looked at Steven Tyler and Joe Perry, and I said, I want to be both those people.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and I do think that like the bands that affect you like first, like stay with you the rest of your life, right?
Mhm.
Absolutely.
And so I look like this.
Uh,
I don't know what that says about me. I've been giving Kiss a lot of my money for most of my life.
yeah, you've been in the Kiss Army for a long, long time there, my friend. So,
Since I was 5 years old.
all
Yeah.
right. So, Eric, if you have anything else you would like to tell the fans, tell the viewers, go right ahead. This is your platform, man. If you want to shout out anything to anyone, go ahead, brother.
Okay, yeah. So everybody can check out Wildstreet on Facebook, Wildstreet NYC. You can follow us on Instagram, Wildstreet Official. We're on Twitter, Wildstreet, and YouTube, Wildstreet. And you can also just type. You can type Wildstreet in any search engine, and you know what? You're going to see pictures of us, and you're going to know that you got the right
That's
website.
true. Very
Oh yeah.
I want to say thank you and to all people who've been supporting us for so long. And
No problem, brother.
it's not just about it's about you guys too. So
Yeah, man, we love supporting you guys. You guys,
We like good
I've been-
music.
yeah, you guys been good since day one, and you're still good, and that's all. We just love you guys at your personalities as well. So just
And thank you for not breaking up completely, because there's so many good bands that started around the same time you guys did that
Yeah.
have thus split up in the last like 2 years. And it bums me out.
Well, actually, I do want to touch on that if you're up for it. What kind of happened after Wildstreet 2? Did it kind of just fall apart for a little bit, or did it? What like you guys kind of shifted a little bit with the members and such?
Well, yeah, the other guys wanted to move on and do other things in their life, and
Okay.
I wanted to move on for a little while and do different things in music. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of other things, and that could be another interview. But
Yeah.
there's no bad feelings. I just they moved on to different places in their life, and
Yeah.
and I still want to rock. So
All right, that's a good deal. We're glad you're here. We're glad you're here. Yeah, I just
Absolutely.
kind of found that interesting. You know, throughout the years, I heard you guys kind of went quiet for a little bit, and I was like worried that you guys just kind of called it quits. But as we all know now, you guys are still flying the flag. So appreciative of that, my man. So
Wildstreet 3, go get it, people.
yeah, man. And go see him out on tour too. That awesome shows. Awesome shows. All the times that I've seen him, love it. Full of energy, sound great. Great
And their
shredding.
t-shirts are fucking cool too.
That too. Yeah.
I've been browsing the
Yeah.
shop, like, what can I afford? Nothing yet, but what do I want first? T-shirt, album, what?
All right, man. So we appreciate you again, Eric, for coming on the show here on Krash and Thunders. And guys, if you guys like what we're doing here, like this here, having artist interviews, having album reviews, reactions, click the like button.
Discography
click the subscribe
rankings.
button. Yes, discography rankings. We love doing them. That's always fun. But yeah, guys, leave a comment for Eric, and I'm sure he'll be around to say hi back. So, all right, guys, until next time, I'm Krash.
I'm Thunders.
And that's Eric Jayk from Wildstreet, and we will see you guys later.
Later.